Welcome to Neural Transformations, your home for healing, brain health, and awe inspiring transformations.
Let's go.
Today, I'm super excited and blessed and honored to have an old friend on here that I grew up with. Trent Denson, we come from the same place, same neighborhood,
Literally.
and way back.
Way back, yeah.
And Trent is the owner and founder of Spread the Positive, amazing nonprofit organization that I got involved with way back in 2017. And the mission is inspiring, incredible, and I'm just super excited to catch up with Trent and see how he's been doing.
Yeah, man.
So glad to have you on, sir.
Yes, sir,
How
man.
you,
Pumped to be here. Thanks for having me.
absolutely. So I want to
Yeah.
dive in to positivity because that's one of my favorite subjects. And it's positivity in the brain is so important because when you don't fire and wire, so to speak, the right thoughts or the right actions or hang out with the right people and you're not in a positive mind state, our brain is naturally negative. It has that negativity bias. So I wanted to ask you like about positivity and like how can we make positivity more contagious in such a
Man,
negative world?
that's $1 million question. It's what I've been working on for a long time. As you mentioned, spread the positive's been in the works for a long time. It's definitely as I've discovered over the years, like I used to say it was really needed, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. But man, it just seems to be exponentially more needed. Like you said, just with the overwhelming amount of what's not working, what's going wrong, the traumas, the dramas, the scandals, everything that went wrong. We get so much of that. And the tagline with Spread the Positive nowadays is bringing light to what's going right. Simple as that. Things that are actually working, making a positive impact. Positive, it can be somewhat subjective, but I think on a human level, there's a few things that we can fundamentally agree on or that are just overall better for like our communities, the collective, consciousness of this crazy thing we call life, man. So yeah, dude, I've been at it for a long time, as you know, and grateful for your support over the years for sure, man. It's always it means a lot to have folks like you in my corner, and especially going back to the OGs of the OGs back in Weaverville and all the stuff that
Mhm.
we've been through as friends, and now we're getting into our professional careers, and just I mean, it's cool to have folks like you that have been down for the cause since day one, which is really special, man. So I appreciate that. But to answer your question, man, full disclosure, it's hard. It's hard to make positivity. Uh, I wouldn't say contagious, but I mean, it's just hard to cut through the noise. The whole "if it bleeds, it reads," the clickbait
Mhm.
stuff. Like, it's not really cool to talk about a food drive that went really well, but it's cool to talk about everything that went wrong that day. So I don't know, man. It's not the sexiest stuff more times than not. But at the same time, it's so necessary and it's so needed that just I mean that's been the whole mission since day one. Honestly, since I can remember. I remember having a beef with the news when I was like 4.5, 5 years old. I was like, why do we just drop everything we're doing to go watch all the bad stuff that happened today? Like, I remember being very young and just being like super confused by that. So it's kind of been a deep rooted passion for a long time to create any type of counter to just the mainstream media approach of just filling the population with as much that didn't work. And I'm like, why not talk about what's working? Why not try to showcase and facilitate those things? So yeah, man, that's the whole premise. And like you were saying, it's not the easiest stuff, but it's very, very necessary, especially nowadays.
Yeah, it seems like it's becoming like exponentially necessary.
Bro, I've said it like I thought it was really bad 10 years ago. I thought it was really bad 5 years
Mhm.
ago. Like I
Yeah.
said, it just snowballing. It just gets, I mean, I guess that's the beauty of the information age. And actually, someone said it on a podcast I recorded recently. Uh, like the most important thing right now, just with all of the abundance of information and disinformation, is literally just discernment, like doing doing the work to make sure you're consuming what you need to be consuming, and there's an art to that. And it's so easy to get caught up in the minutia and the just crap that's out there, man. But like if you're intentional about it, like your stuff is very intentional with like what you consume is what you want more of. And like that is something that can be uh compounded and replicated. And just being able to set those intentions and like being very conscious of what you're following on socials and reading and listening to, even music, man. Like we're some hip hop heads for sure, but like there's some
Mhm.
really, not so positive stuff in those
Facts.
lyrics. And it, as much as it's awesome and I've loved it my whole life, you got to be aware of that stuff. And even like watching scary or disturbing movies, like that's, I mean, it's cool. Like it's cool to do it here and there, but like that's really, taking up brain space and taking up your consciousness and energy. And on the subconscious side of it, that's where it really manifests. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, just I know you're very familiar with all that. And that's why I love what you're doing too. Just like the intentionality of what you're putting in your brain is kind of the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. And a little backdrop for listeners, I used to listen to like rap music a lot, especially in college, and that's when it started to influence my life. And
Mm,
full disclosure, when I was in college, I started doing some really shady, bad things and got into some deep stuff with some deep people to leave room for people to understand what was going on at that time. And I think I'm very receptive in that everything that comes to me, I take it personally because
mm,
it doesn't seem like I have a conscious filter. It just goes right to my subconscious. And I was so a very empathetic guy my entire life. And I felt similar about news. It was almost like I could feel the negativity of what they
mm.
were spreading.
Yep.
Um, but kind of to get back on a better tangent, you mentioned like connection, community, and the importance of our local communities. And I feel we're becoming more disconnected than ever before, especially with this age of AI and internet. It's like I can't even go knock on my neighbor's door without him being like, "What?" Like, kind of
I
like,
know,
so what can we do to like
man.
counterbalance that isolation that seems to be going on collectively?
Man, that's a great question. We have a new thing we're really pushing with STP right now called the 3 C's. We call it community. It's a triangle. If you can visualize an equilateral triangle, we got community at the top, content, and connection. And I think like that's what this whole platform is built on, is bringing those three things together and creating mutually beneficial relationships for local nonprofits in our area or beyond. The actual podcast or the content that we're producing out of Spread the Positive. And then the connection aspect would be advertisers and sponsorships and just businesses or individuals that um, want to see what you're talking about, want to see being more neighborly, being more friendly, being, again, just tapping into stuff that's actually working. Like I think that's, I mean, again, it's just the most needed thing in the world right now. And again, not always the easiest thing. And like you said, just even on a neighborly level, it's just so much different than it used to be, man. Like obviously we would just go to our friends' houses and usually didn't even have to knock and like just go in the garage and be like, yo, what's up? And there's still some of that in my life, and some people that I'm that close with, but as a rule, you're right. Like my neighbors are, I don't know a lot of them, and cordial and wave to the people that are right next to me, but I mean that's about it. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of sad, but I don't know. I really don't know how to, other than providing these opportunities that we're doing. And I mean, I'm not saying that we're the only people doing it, but again, just being intentional with your messaging and just like your personal brand. I think that goes a long way, just to be known as someone that's open and accepting, and looking for connection and looking to facilitate stuff that's working. Again, it just, that's to me, that's what we're here for. And it is that, the community aspect of everything is so important. And you're right, we are getting more and more away from it, and that's probably why our world's getting more and more crazy. So there is part of me that's, I guess, fearful of just some of the stuff that's happening here lately, obviously. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff that's really good, and I think I mean, that's been another very key aspect of all things STP and, my mental health, to be honest. Like, I have to seek these things out, like, if, again, it's not the most popular stuff. It's not the stuff that's going to be number one on Netflix more than likely, but it's oh shoot, I got cramp. Oh snap. Oh no. Anyway, sorry. I just had my leg just
Yeah,
cramped up.
all good, my friend.
But yeah, man. Yeah, there's just that's the community aspect, and bringing people together and recognizing when things are working and stuff, man. Like, that's so important. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but like, that's like, we gotta go out of our way to create those opportunities and create those, these conversations and these opportunities to connect and give back. And I mean, it's what it's all about in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. And it's often speaking to people and truly listening to them,
Bingo.
not trying to say, "Hey, Trent, like, listen to you so I can make my response." Being actually present with you. And what is this guy actually communicating with me? And
Yeah.
why is he angry? Why is this person upset? If we could just have more of that, just conflict resolution, and just seeing each other as just another human being instead of a flag or a gang
There you
or
go, dude.
Democrat, Republican, and oh, this guy's this, and making just initial
Yes.
judgments about somebody. You never know what the hell somebody's going through, man. And,
100%, man. I
and you
I
have no
I'll
idea.
100%. I always say, label me human, and that's about it. Like, miss me with the labels, miss me with this person. I can't get along with this person because of such and such. Or, I've heard crazy comment. I mean, just absolutely crazy stuff from folks over the years that, like, just stick out in my mind. I'm like, that's just not it. Like, respectfully, like, I mean, even if we get onto like a religious or like a spiritual, you know, to like, God called us to, love our neighbor regardless, like,
Hmm.
period. That's not it. There's not an if after that. Love your neighbor, period. Done. So that's not love your neighbor if they're a Republican, not if they go to the same church as you, not if they believe the same things you do. Like, it sounds cliche, but I mean, a lot of this stuff we complicate just on a human level because we're fearful of things that are different than us. And it's sad in a lot of ways. And it's something, again, that we just got to be aware of. And, like, I always say this too, man. There's a spectrum, right? Wait, where am I? We got love and acceptance and fear and doubt, right? Like, that's the spectrum that like everything in life occurs on. And if you're coming from a place of fear and doubt and worry and anxiety and anger and all of those things, like, your life's going to reflect that. And if you're coming from a place of love and acceptance, regardless, man. Even if people do you wrong, like just having
Mhm.
that moment of pause and being able to, like you said, remember people are going through battles that we have no idea about, and people make decisions on impulse and when they're angry, and like things happen, life happens, so I mean, just being able to, again, just be intentional with like how the conflict resolution, and taking a step back and counting to 10 if we need to, and realizing that we're all just trying to do this. We're all trying to do the same thing. And some of us are in better positions than others. And if anything, you should be looking out for opportunities to help and connect and be part of the solution. Like, again, there's some fundamental things like as humans that we can't agree on. Like there, and even like to a scientific level, like energy, like we can measure energy and we can feel
Mhm.
energy, whether it's good energy or bad energy. Like that's stuff that we
Mhm.
know for sure exists. So like
Mhm.
being aware of that, being conscious of the energy you're carrying, that's another one of the fundamentals of STP. Like when I'm not in a good mood and I'm not trying to be spreading the positive, like I'm gonna stay my ass at home, and I'm gonna go to the woods or something. I'm gonna go literally like by myself, give myself right, and then come back. Like I'm not gonna, like that's something I'm very, very conscious of. Like I don't, the energy that I'm exuding from this region right here physically affects people. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's something, when I really understood that, something really clicked. And I mean, I've always kind of had that approach more times than not of being nice, being friendly. That's something that my parents, like my dad told me very early. He's like, you don't have to be the most successful. You don't have to be the most wealthy, but you will be nice to people. And that's something I'm extremely grateful for, and that's something that I really try to focus on every day. And it's why Spread the Positive exists. It's why I do the things I do. It's how I approach life on a daily basis. So, yeah, dude, it's not always the easiest, but it's extremely necessary. I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah, 100%. And like you mentioned, the heart, and I get so geeked out and fascinated upon just the biological and metaphysical energy that our bodies produce. And I heard a recent statistic that said every single cell, every one of our 100 trillion cells produces about zero point 0.7 volts of potential energy.
Okay.
And why that was so cool is because if you add that up, zero point 0.7 volts times 100 trillion, it's just an unbelievable amount of potential energy that we have. It's not necessarily like energy that we are always are that's what we're potentially capable of using. I'm talking about like Wim Hof or something, a
Hmm.
guy like that went up to Everest, what the human potential is. And so I just want to bring that back to that same mantra that positivity, it does work. And not only that, coming from a really negative guy, like back in my 20s, extremely negative, you can change that. And I'm living proof of that, you know?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And life will do that to you, man. Like I think we all, I mean, that life is a journey of self-discovery, man. Like we were, let's just be real, we were kind of stupid, like all of us in our 20s. Our brains aren't fully developed. Like we were doing things that we probably shouldn't have, and enjoying substances we probably shouldn't have had. I mean, just stuff that we did. I mean, yeah, we all had that phase in our life. And honestly, man, like life will beat you up no matter what. Like that's something I've really come to understand too. Like even no matter who you are, no matter what socioeconomic status you have, no matter what demographic or home life you have, like life will kick your butt at some point. Like it's inevitable. You're gonna hit the bottom. It's gonna really, really, really suck. But I know me and you have both had like some pretty major setbacks and mental health struggles. And, I'll be the first to say I still have them. It's
Mm-hmm.
not something that ever goes away. It's just a matter of being able to use the tools in the toolbox, to manage those feelings, those episodes, whatever you want to call it. And again, like just knowing the stuff we know now, we can handle it better. And you know, even being able to kind of celebrate those setbacks at this point is something I'm actually extremely grateful for. You know, like we're lucky to be here. I know you're very lucky to be here.
Mhm.
Thank God, you know, it's amazing the recovery that you've had, and just it's incredible. Again, like you said, the human spirit and the human body is so capable of just adapting and becoming better. And yeah, the self-discovery aspect is not the most fun, but you know, it's just part of the journey. So um yeah, dude, I I I'm grateful for those times. I look back on them with you know, I don't even really know how to say it. Just it's just part of what brought us here now, you know, like we're doing that, like we're good, you know, like we're living it out and having a healthy life and living it out, man. So shouts to both of us, man. We've done we've done a hell of a
100%.
job.
I feel that, man. I feel that. Like I'm so grateful to just wake up every morning and the simple blessings, just looking at the sun and just the amazingness that is just being on this mother earth. And not to get too esoteric, I think a lot about this mantra that I've had recently, which is there's a balance between humility and cockiness. And
Yeah.
so what I mean by that is if you're too arrogant, the world's going to humble you. But if
Mhm.
you're too far on the humility spectrum, people are going to run all over you, dude. And I've experienced both. So
Me
there's
too.
such a balance in life. So I love me and I believe in myself, but that doesn't mean that I'm greater than you
No.
or greater than anyone else, right?
Hmm.
So
100%,
can
man.
you elaborate on that and what your thoughts about that are?
Sure. Man, I been dealing with some stuff like that right now, you know, like literally the past couple weeks I've been in a I don't know, it's like I'm always known as the positive nice guy, and sometimes like you said, people will run over you, or people will milk that, or people will take advantage of that, or you know, and then the whole standing up for yourself and putting your foot down, and you know, the self-awareness and the honestly just self-love that comes with that is super hard. Like it's just not my nature to, you know, be confrontational, or sometimes just having difficult conversations that are have to happen, you know, like
Mhm.
it's not my strong suit. And just some of the stuff that I've let slide over the years, even with the STP network and these podcasts that we're producing and all this big picture vision stuff that I remember saying stuff over the past, you know, who knows, year and a half, just like, man, I'm kind of riding dirty without having some of this legal protection and some of these, you know, contractual things more in place. And um like it's becoming issues, and like just putting it off has like really made this stuff so much harder than it would have been just to have those difficult conversations and just knock it out from the beginning. So um yeah, the humility side of it and being humble, you know, I'm pretty good at that. You know, I mean, I'm usually the peacekeeper. I'm usually the moderator, can kind of you know, bring a solution, bring something that can kind of ease a tense situation. That's something I've um you know, taken pride in over the years. And you know, there's also times when I'm the complete opposite of that, and I'm the instigator, and I'm the person stirring the pot. And you know, I mean, I can say those are pretty few and far between, especially later, or you know, more so lately. But yeah, man, that's you're absolutely right, that the duality between I mean, I would almost just call it confidence and confidence and humility, and having enough of a backbone to do both is an art. And it's something, again, it's part of that self-discovery that, man, like I've been terrible at it at times. I've been so scared of so many things for no reason. It's unbelievable. And then, yeah, it's wild looking back. And just, I mean, picking up the phone back in the day to call like business, like for sales stuff, it used to, I mean, terrified. I'm still like, I
Yeah.
still hate some of that stuff. Like I don't want to bug people. I don't want to come off salesy. I don't want to, there's all these insecurities, and like it's almost like you're not worthy of their time. It's just such a imposter syndrome. Like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, all this stuff it's such a battle. And like you said, just the balance and the duality of having the self-awareness to do both, and to have the confidence enough in yourself and what you're doing to be, I mean, I hate to say it, be the bad guy at time. I mean, not the bad guy, just the guy that needs to stand up for yourself, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. And I've literally, had some really difficult conversations with people that I really care about, and like we've been building something together.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we, just have kind of been flying by the seat of our pants has caught up to us when different stuff comes about, different monies are presented, different opportunities are presented. So yeah, dude, it's been this stuff's hard. Honestly, dude, it's the biggest learning curve I've ever had in my life. I'm grateful for it all, but man, it is really hard, and it would be quite nice to just go get a job and kick it, But again, that's at this point, it's honestly just not an option. And I know, like, God's put this on my heart for a long time, and it's not an if, it's just like you got to, like it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fun all the time, but it's literally what I believe is my destiny and my quote unquote assignment for this planet. And it comes with a lot of pressure, dude. And I've struggled with that a lot. Like you've seen some of the real big setbacks, and literally losing my mind over this stuff. So like
Yeah.
it's crazy. But I kind of got a little off your question there, but I think we can go from there.
No, I mean, just so much admiration, respect, dude, because so many things that you said just like resonated right in my heart center, just because there's like a fierce tenderness, because I ask myself often, what would love do, right? What would
Mm,
love do? And there's a fierce tenderness to love, because we want things so much for this world and other people. It's almost that we like care too much, that um but when somebody's doing something that needs to be, they need to be called out upon, that in a loving, respectful way. Once again, we're not bringing out any violence or any, we don't even have to say any negative words to this person, but it's standing up for a loving act, which telling people that they're out of their bounds or setting boundaries. And
yeah.
it's just so important, man. And just so much respect for what you're doing, what you're continuing to do. I would love to know what's kind of on the agenda for Spread the Positive in the future. Where do you kind of see this playing out? I know sometimes we can't even know what to expect in 2 seconds from now, in
Oh
this
man.
day and age. But
Yeah.
what is like your overall grandiose like vision of Spread the
Yeah, man.
Positive?
Well, you've heard me talk all crazy for 10 plus years about this dream and this company, and it's evolved in so many different ways. And thank you for what you said. First of all, thank you. That really means a lot. But yeah, dude, what's on deck? Basically, so Spread the Positive has it's gone from It's like I said, it's changed courses a lot, and I mean, the mission's always been the same, but the way about it, and the way to, I don't even know, the way to actually show what it is has changed over the years quite a bit. I started the STP pod in January of 2018, knowing nothing. I just was listening to Short Story Long with Drama from Robin Big, and he was like, "Yo, if I can start a podcast, anybody can." And I'm terrified of this. He said how scared he was, um, and then I'll never forget. It was like 3 episodes in a row that with all the people he was interviewing. He's like, if you're passionate about anything, start a podcast. I was like, man, that's kind of crazy. So did that, fell in love with it, kind of like we've talked about, just the power of podcasting, and just the evolution of the STP podcast, and then having people approach me about helping them start a podcast and produce their podcast, bring their podcast life to, or ideas to life, is just kind of naturally evolved over the past like couple years. Is kind of a pandemic, baby, to be perfectly honest. Just bit the bullet
Well
on.
said.
Yeah,
I like that term, pandemic, baby.
yeah, man, it really was. I mean, I had some crazy real estate deals fall through, and at the time I was just scrambling, trying to survive, doing 4 different jobs at a time that were just all kind of distracting me from the other ones. And, it was just a lot of chaos, man. Long story short, it was just, I was all over the place. I was trying anything to just, again, just to pay the bills, get by, survive. Um, and just from that, and having another, mild panic attack when a lot of these deals fell through. And I mean, just like a year's worth of money that I had scheduled for like the next 2 to 3 months was just like gone. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I literally, like, I'll never forget this day. I like couldn't, like, I woke up super early and I couldn't sleep, and I I was like literally like shake. I mean, it wasn't really like shaking, but like I couldn't calm down, and I just, I know we've had similar stuff like that over the
Oh
years, but
yeah. Yeah.
literally just like crippling anxiety, and just it was awful. And I managed to get to, there's some trails here in Murfreesboro that are like my sanctuary. Like anytime I really get super stressed out, and just when I want to go enjoy nature, like it's my favorite place to go. It's just awesome, honestly. Barfield Park. If you're ever in Murfreesboro, check out Barfield Park over by the Wilderness Station. But anyway, man, I got up there. It looked like it was gonna rain. It did kind of rain. I had like boots and like a rain jacket on. I left my phone in the car. I swear I was like I didn't see another person. I walked 6 miles through the woods, just literally having like a spiritual awakening. It was pretty
Wow.
dope, actually. Like and I got, like, when I came out of the woods, dude, it sounds like a movie scene. Like, it was literally like the most glorious day of all time. Like, it went from being kind of gloomy, cloudy, and then when I came out, it was like blue skies, sunny, just gorgeous day. I had just enough time to go home, take a shower, and go to a recording I was doing with LT360, a holistic healthcare company here in Middle Tennessee. They're doing amazing work, and I was setting up the mobile kit we had been using, and I just felt this like crazy sense of peace come over me, and like literally God was like, this is it. Like, you need to stop all the other stuff. This is it. Like, you go push record. Like, just go push record. Set it up, get the mics right, get the levels right, get everything set up, and just push record. And I remember, Coach Scott and Dr. J at the time were just talking about all the amazing stuff happening at the clinic, and these amazing success stories they were having. And just like, it came over me. And I was just, from there, I knew like this is it. And like, I've just put everything else on the back burner and just tried to build out a platform that has always been, that's what Spread the Positive has always been in my mind, is some type of platform network, again, counter to the mainstream, just uplifting, positive. Cammy, hey, hey, sorry. got
Shout out to
production assist,
Cammy.
got production. Hey, shut your butt. Anyway, man, I'm didn't even answer your question, but just the backstory that kind of led to this platform aspect of what we're doing, and then just having that understanding that this is it. Like, there's not something else I need to be focused on, was like the most freeing thing I've ever felt. So from there, man, long story short, we've helped over 50 people now start their pods. We're producing on the network, 30, 40 shows on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. It's quickly turning into a radio TV station type model where we're, again, trying to bring those three C's together to connect our podcasters with advertisers and, impactful community aspects that like are part of this network that has, been brought together by myself and a lot of people that have supported the mission over the years. So it's on the tip of being something really awesome. We got a lot of people around here paying attention in a different way. And the quality has gone up with a new partnership with my good buddy Tom Golly. I got to give him a huge shout out, man. Big Tom, he is a Christian music artist by trade, but is again kind of his pandemic baby. We started a podcast studio like less than a mile away from each other at a really close time, and I'll go ahead and say this. I remember seeing pictures of his place. I'm like, oh dear, like that looks so much nicer than what we're working with. But anyway, shouts to Tom. We've been going back and forth for like a year. I mean, there's never been like any competition, or I wouldn't even, it's always been like, how can we work together, because we're trying to do the same thing. And anyway, his knowledge of light, like you were asking me about lighting and stuff off mic, dude, he is a guru. The lenses, I mean, his stuff looks like Joe Rogan, man. Like, I was like, I don't have that skill set, and all the stuff that I lack, he has, and a lot of the stuff he lacks, I have. So we've, and it's crazy, man. He's from Long Island, big New Yorker, kind of in your face. He's definitely in your face at times, but so we kind of have like this good cop, bad cop vibe, or like we can, I don't know, we just complement each other well, and we've both been burned in similar ways here lately. So we're trying, anyway, we're working together in official capacity, and like got people really paying attention. So it's super exciting, man. This is the most long-winded answer to your question ever, but it's good to get it off the chest. So I appreciate the opportunity, man.
Yeah, man. It's all
But
love. Like I appreciate you so much for sharing like your honest truth
bro,
as a man, is like speaking to another man from my heart. Like,
yeah,
I'm
dude.
not ashamed to say to anybody, like, expressing those emotions, man, because we're all human, and there's shame is the number one killer. And
Yep.
unfortunately, I've had quite a few friends pass away, and I can understand why, because I felt at times that I was a man, and expressing my emotions was like expressing what negative things had happened to me in an open, honest way, because nobody's Superman. People want
No,
you to, they want you to think that like everything's perfect.
no,
Everybody's got some shit going on, man. And
100%,
if we can just have more of that and more positivity,
100%.
society is, I'm optimistic about where we're headed as a society,
Yeah, 100%. And that's yeah, dude, feel your feels. I say it all the time. Feel your freaking feels and get it out however you need to. Therapy is the best thing on the planet. There's no shame in that game. Go talk to somebody, talk to me, call me. I don't care. Like, whatever. Like, I've been a sounding board my whole life. Like, I don't know what it is, but people will just spill their guts to me, and it's been a gift and a curse, I'll say that, but
Oh yeah.
overall it's a huge blessing, and I'm extremely grateful for it. But man, just to get back to kind of the where, like, that whole preamble I just went over is like kind of what's led to this this cross, I wouldn't even call it a crossroads, but just this next level of all things STP is so exciting, man. We got so STP is technically a production company at the current, well, it'll still be a production company. So
Mm-hmm.
we've always been, for profit technically the last whatever 3.5 4 years since I've been like doing it here in Murfreesboro. But we're actually gonna start a foundation. We're gonna call it the What's Going Right Foundation. That's the first time I've announced that, by the way. So breaking news here on Neural Transformations, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm first to hear it. But
I love it.
the What's Going Right Foundation, and just being able to, like I said earlier, there's a lot of these grants out there that for nonprofits to start a podcast division. I've done it for um, a couple of folks out like here in the local Middle Tennessee region, and it's just been such an awesome process. Like, it's, government money that has to be used to build out this podcast, like build a podcast division within this nonprofit. And I think there's a huge opportunity to kind of be the leader in that space, at least around here, probably beyond eventually. But again, that's a really big factor that's in the works. Like, we're filing for the charter this week. It's super exciting. And that'll just allow us to go after more. We've been calling it both the buckets, if you will. We got the philanthropic bucket and the marketing, advertising, PR bucket.
Yeah.
Just being able to tap into both of those and have more of a charitable contribution aspect that can fuel a lot of the mission, and also, allow the production company to highlight the stuff that we're doing within the foundation, is just kind of, again, it kind of just brings that triangle effect all in house. And just being able to really build out the mission, have more funding, have more opportunities for folks to, like I said, dip into either one of those buckets to support the mission and the vision. So, man, it's super exciting. It's been a long time coming, as you know. This thing is just, it's wild to look back on. Just, the early days in Asheville with Adam and all the stuff we did in Asheville, and just not knowing exactly what it was for so long, and still, honestly, still not knowing exactly what it is, but just the persistence and the falling down and the failing over and over and over has really led to this really cool thing that's like on the tip of just exploding. And I really believe we're at that inflection point of, like, just the having everything really pretty on paper and having all the CYA of it all really buttoned up. It's just it's the scalability options and the funding that can come through with all this stuff now. It's there. Like, it's all this stuff, man. 11, 12 years of grinding and just scraping to get by, and just blood, sweat, and tears, literally, to get to this point, man. It's a little, it's hard to put into words, honestly, man. It's been such a crazy journey. But yeah, I'm so excited about where we're at with it all. We have some amazing shows and some amazing opportunities that are again, just different perspectives, different just like you said, just different ways of looking at life. I think I've always kind of steered clear of anything religious or what was no political, no religious stuff. And it's cool what it's turning into, man. Just being able to help people tell their stories and tell like their truth is it's such a powerful thing, man. And these shows are really doing it. Like we got, you know, two bottles deep with my guys Wes and Philip. They're two gay guys that are trying to bridge the gap between the gay and straight community. Dude, I've
Mhm.
learned so much. You know, heterosexual male, you know, whatever you want to, you know, cis male, whatever. You know, all this stuff I'm learning. And dude, I mean, I mean, it's so awesome to be able to like that's just really cool. And now we got a show called Habibi Hunters with two of my friends that I've connected with through the Murfreesboro Muslim Youth nonprofit here in town. Dude, the most impactful organization here by far. Like they do the most good stuff. It's unbelievable. I put them up against any nonprofit organization that almost, I mean, I'm talking like 60 something cars, you know, helping domestic violence situations, always doing all the, you know, the love your neighbor events where we had there was over 50 countries represented on our little Murfreesboro square here. And a lot, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't know that that type of diversity is here, man. Like, and it just,
What a melting pot, man.
dude, it's so sick. It was one of the coolest things. Everybody had their food. I mean, their own food, and you know, their like the stuff that they were selling, and the stuff from their you know home country. And I don't know, man. It's just like that's what this thing's about. Is again just acceptance and loving your people regardless. And I've learned so much from the Habibi hunters. I love that name too. Habibi means loved one or soulmate. And
Mm.
they're just talking about, you know, like the struggles of finding love in the Muslim community. And I'm like, I had no idea. And it's again, not my demographic, so to speak, not who I quote unquote identify with, but like I want to know and I want to be an ally and I want to support and like be down. Like there's no like it's amazing what they're doing and they're so smart and so funny. One's like an aspiring comedian, one's a licensed therapist up in New York. They got this amazing vibe, dude. It's so good. Like it's honestly just so good and they plan their show out so good and I don't know, man. It's super exciting where we're at with it all. Like, I mean, we got you know locally owned Murfreesboro around here, waves of awareness with special needs stuff. You know, obviously the STP pod's still going. Table talk where we'll my my business partner Jonathan brings, you know, sometimes some pretty tough conversations to the table and we talk about it, which is what we need to
Mhm.
do, man. You're
Yep.
asking like what we can do to kind of get more neighborly and get more inclusive and community oriented. That's how we do it, man. Like having you know talks about racism, talks about you know different religions, talks about you know women's rights and the inequalities there, like stuff that we know is happening and you know it's
Mhm.
convenient just to not talk about it and not do anything about it, but that's what we're doing here, man. We're kind of pushing the envelope a little while also just always again trying to come from that place of being a loving like loving acceptance over fear and doubt. Like if you again that spectrum, I can't when someone put it to me that way, I'll never forget. Like it just clicked in a way that it was really really clearly it stuck with me. And I think if more people could just recognize that that is ultimately all this division and all this, I mean, hate and all this stuff that we as a society have um, allowed to divide us, man. Like it's not that complicated to get back to just loving and accepting people. Period, man. Like and I'll be the first to say, man, back in the day in high school, you couldn't tell me that.
No.
I didn't have enough I didn't have enough, you know, experience. I didn't have enough like I mean, I just knew what I knew. And I mean, you know, growing up going to church and doing the things that I did, I was like, I was that person that would not be coming from a loving and accepting place. You know, like I was, you're wrong. You need to do this. You need to do that. And it's not how it is, man. It's just not how it is. We're on this planet to coexist and literally I mean, it's not that tricky, man. And again, just I can't drive that point home enough. Like if you're coming from a place of love and acceptance, your life will reflect that. And if you're coming from a place of fear and doubt, your life will reflect that. Like straight up and down. Like, and if you're fearful and angry and, you know, looking looking for the looking for the problem, man. Like people literally like seek out those opportunities to be mad about something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like what we've been conditioned to do as a society since the beginning of time. And it's a problem. And that's why, like you said, man, like it's imperative to have any type of counter and any type of, you know, just being able to man, just being any type of example to counter that, man, is something that there you talk about white space or you talk about room for disruption or room for whatever you want to call it in business or in like that white space people are always chasing. There's a plenty of room in the uplifting, morale boosting, community unifying. There's room in that space, man, and there's zero I mean, there we are looking to collaborate, and if you got anything you want us to push that's part of what we're about, man, come through. Like it's this thing is I mean, you asked like what I want it to be, what I vision it to be. Like like this platform is going to change the world, man. Like it already has in a lot of ways, and on a small little scale around my immediate circle here in you know, the Middle Tennessee and, you know, North Carolina's home forever. So I always say I got Memphis to Wilmington on lock. You know? I got Memphis to Wilmington on lock, and like that's my heart and soul. And again, man, we're right in the middle of the country. I feel like that's something as well that like I'm so freaking grateful for. To just if you look at it, man, we're right dead smack in the middle. Like we're not north or south. Like it's the middle of the country. And um I don't know. I think what we're doing with Spread the Positive is it's special, man. Like I look back and a lot of things have could have stopped this. A lot of things could have um you know, I could have quit, man. Like I could have just
Mm-hmm.
packed it up. And that's those thoughts always are there. But it's also, I mean, there's memories of like my buddy Tyler, the first time we recorded a podcast. He's got a clothing company called Ambition Threads, killing it. He's just a legend. And he told me like when we were leaving, I can literally visualize it. He's like, man, you know you can't quit, right? It's like, hmm, yeah, you know what? And there's moments where I mean, there's been countless moments where I'm like, I'm done. And then I'll remember that. I'll remember Tyler saying something like that. I'll remember stuff that you or Jared or Adam or, you know, and business partners and just random people that have been on the podcast that just thank me for having, I guess, the fortitude and the, I don't know, man. Sometimes it gets weird to talk about it, but just knowing that we're where we're at and where we're going at this point and just how tangible a lot of the stuff is now and how we can really provide a lot of value, whether it's through creating your podcast, creating, you know, advertising, marketing, social media, positive PR campaigns, like connecting you with pretty much. I mean, if you need like me and Jonathan always say, we want to be the I know a guy. Like and I know a person. And we are like like if you need something, it's part of this network. You know, like if you want home inspector, got you. You want a barber, we got you. You want a home brewing expert, we got you. Anything, man. Like it can be anything. Carpet cleaning, whatever, dude. Like we got 3 or 4 of them. Financial advisor, mortgage person, realtor, whatever. Like, and it's all part of this network that's based around bringing light to what's actually working. That's dope. Sometimes when I say it out loud, I'm like, that's good. That's good. Like if you're actually against that, man, you're part of the problem, straight up and down. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
say it with confidence, not
Mm-hmm.
no humble there. Like I will tell you straight up and down. You
I
know,
love it, man.
last thing. Uh another quotable thing someone said to me. They're like, if you're like actively against what you're doing, that's like hating grandmothers and puppies. I was like, let's go.
Ooh, that
I'm
one
like,
burns
that's
deep,
I know, man. So if you're out here trying to hate on some grandmothers and puppies, then you're probably not our target demo. But yeah, man, that's some long-winded just therapy. This is dang near a therapy session, B. I appreciate it,
I
man.
love it, man. I love it, dude. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's inspiring to see that persistence, and it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, right? It's are you going to get back up again? You're going to let
Hmm.
life knock you down, or you're just going to stay there and give up? And what a better example of a persistence of spreading the positive. Thanks
That's
for
it,
coming
bro.
on, man.
You're a
Where
legend,
can
Brody.
people get a contact of you?
Yeah, at spread the positive, just the way it's phonetically spelled, spreadthepositive.net. Email me, Trent at spreadthepositive.net. I'm not hard to find, dude. Reach out to Brody. Whatever you need to do, man. Feel free to shoot my info to anybody in your camp. You know that's a given. So I'm not hard to find, man. Trent at spreadthepositive.net. On IG, it's at Trent Denson. So yeah, man, out here.
Keep doing it, man. It's all love, and keep doing you. Keep being you. Thank
I
you all
shoot.
for listening.